What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. And today, I know we're back in the Gladiator, and yes, I know this video is titled between the Bronco and the Jeep, but if you guys aren't familiar with the Jeep and the Jeep Wrangler and the Gladiator is basically the exact same as the Wrangler, interior wise, exterior wise, suspension wise, everything from the bed forward. So the only difference is you get a bed instead of a trunk. So we're gonna not basically talk about the bed, we're gonna pretend that this is a regular Jeep and do the comparison that way. So first, let's start off with the similarities, because they're very, very similar vehicles. There's probably a lot more that's in common than that's different. So the first thing is you can both of them, you can option them with a lot of off-road features. You can get them both with oversized tires, you can get them both with axle lockers, you can get them both with a off-road camera, so front camera and rear camera. I believe that you can option them both with steel bumpers front and back, and they are both winch capable bumpers on both vehicles, on the Bronco as well as on the Wrangler. I believe that you can also get LED lighting on both. They're both brand new vehicles or new vehicles, so they both have warranties. They both offer, I don't know if I said it already, LED lighting. Yeah, they have modern interiors. It's just pretty much almost everything is the same. They're both even convertibles, which is very rare in an SUV or a truck, but both of them are convertibles. And you can option both of them with a hard top or a soft top, or both, depending on your liking or whatever your situation is or whatever you prefer. So I think that's pretty much where the similarities end. I know that there's probably a few more things, but that's the main stuff that you're going to be looking at when you're going to buy a vehicle. Obviously there is a minor few things here and there, like I know that the Bronco offers on a certain trim a wireless charger, which it kind of works. But you can't get that in the Wrangler or the Gladiator at all. Not a big deal to me. That's just one little thing. There are little things like that, but we're going to talk about the meat and potatoes, the gist of it. Like this vehicle, one of the main differences is you can get a solid axle front and rear. On the Bronco, you can get a solid axle in the rear. And another similarity is they both run the exact same axle. I believe it is a Dana 44 M220. You can check if I'm wrong, but I believe they both run the exact same axles. The Wrangler Rubicon as well as the Bronco. I don't know if the Bronco has a different axle for different trims, but I know that the Rubicon axle is the same one that you can get in the Bronco. Like I said, I don't know if there's different trims, but I know you can still option it in there. So now let's go and let's find a nice spot to actually pull over so I can show you some of the similarities and some of the differences, and the main reason why I honestly chose the Jeep over the Bronco. And I understand if you guys have watched my other videos, I do own another Jeep, so I understand if you think I'm being a little bit biased, but I was in the market for a new vehicle. I was in the market for a vehicle to do something different than what my Jeep does. I built my Jeep for strictly off-roading, and I wanted to build something to do a little bit different, or just to be a little bit different. So that's why I bought this, but we'll get into that in another video. Today we're going to talk about why I chose the Jeep. So let's go, let's find a nice spot over here where there's a little bit of sun left, I hope, and let's get you guys, hopefully, a helpful video to help you choose between the Bronco and the Jeep. So now we're going to talk about a few of the differences, and like I said, disregard that it has the bed. Without the bed, it pretty much is a Wrangler. See right there, it's a Wrangler. So it is a little bit longer, but like I said, we're just going to talk about the similarities and the differences between the Bronco and the Wrangler. Obviously, if you want a Gladiator, they're pretty much exactly the same as the Wrangler, except from there back. So the main difference, and you'll hear this over and over from everyone, is that solid axle. And a lot of people will tell you that the solid axle is the reason they bought this, and it is one of the reasons I bought this. It's not the main reason. It is one of the reasons that I went with a Jeep. And it is very windy today, so I'm going to try to block a bit of the wind by kind of sitting in here halfway. So the solid axle is not the main reason that I got it. It is one of the reasons, definitely, but it isn't the main reason. The solid axle is a lot better for going off-road. Why? Because it is a trusted and true design. It is a simpler design. It has less parts, less moving parts. Basically, it's something that you can fix and work on yourself on the trail. It has a lot more articulation. It has basically it maneuvers itself better underneath the vehicle when you're going off-road and allows you to go over different obstacles a lot easier. Not to say that the Bronco isn't capable. Bronco is tons capable. I will probably say that a stock Bronco is maybe even more capable than a stock Rubicon. Now, it is what it is. Once you build them up, they can both be very equal. They both cost about the same to build up. But when you're starting out, the Bronco is probably a bit more capable, even though it is IFS. I have seen a lot of videos of stock Jeeps and stock Broncos, and the stock Broncos actually surprise you a lot. And yeah, that's surprising to hear from me, I guess. But trust me, that's not the main reason I bought this. It is one of the reasons I bought it. I actually just wanted to make sure that I had the vehicle that was right for all the uses that I was going to use it for. And my main use isn't rock crawling. If your main use is rock crawling, definitely you're going to go with the Jeep. Well, actually not definitely, but most likely you're going to go with the Jeep because of that solid axle and that ability to just swap out that solid axle into a bigger axle a lot easier without changing a whole lot of things. Now, the other thing is, I definitely wanted to get myself a Jeep because of the design and the way that they look. I honestly love the way that they design these things, and I love the way that they look, especially now with this generation. I just honestly love the way they look. Now, they haven't changed them very much, and I think that both the Bronco and the Wrangler, and Jeep, have done a very, very good job at keeping the vehicles true to what they used to look like back in the day. As you guys know, a lot of people are buying a Bronco because of the nostalgia factor and the factor that it looks just like the old one, and that's the thing. It's awesome that it actually still looks like the old one. They haven't ruined it. Unlike some other vehicles, like the Blazer, this thing and the Bronco still look like what a Jeep looked like 30, 40, 50 years ago. If you showed somebody this, they would go, oh, that's a Jeep. If you showed somebody the new Blazer and you showed somebody an old Blazer, they would go, oh, what's that family SUV looking thing? Like, honestly, they've ruined a lot of cars, but I'm happy that the Wranglers and at least the Bronco and a few other vehicles have stayed true to what they should look like. But definitely, some of the factors or some of the reasons that I chose this is the way that the interior is set up and laid out. I love that it has the tiny dash. I love that it has the way that everything is set up inside, the way that you have everything in a column and a stack. I don't really want a nice high center console. I'm happy with my center console. I love the center console here. I love that I still have a manual shifter for my 4x4. That is one thing that you do not get in the Bronco. You do not get a manual shifter. You have to shift it with a digital, like an electronic system, which works, but I like to have this. I know that when I put it into 4 low or 4 high or 2 high, it's there. The other thing is, there's a lot more interior options for these vehicles. There's a lot more interior options for these vehicles than there is for the Broncos. Depending on which trim level you get on the Bronco, you don't get to choose your seating. I chose the cloth seats because I want the cloth seats. I just prefer the cloth seats. A lot of people get the Broncos and they wish that they could choose a different seating option, but depending on what trim you get, you're stuck with that seating option. And that's not the best, but it is what it is. Now, a lot of people say that the red dash is ugly. Personally, I like the red dash. This is one feature that I enjoy, but there's a lot of things in here that you do get that you don't have in the Bronco. As you can see, I'm 6'1", and sitting in here, there's tons of leg room. If I was to sit behind myself, my legs aren't touching. My legs don't touch. Like, I still have minimal room, but I'm comfortable. Like, I can sit back here all day if I want. I can even kind of move down and lean back, and I'm still comfortable. Like, there's still tons of room in here for me, and it's great. Like, I honestly have no problems inside this vehicle. In the Bronco, I barely fit. I honestly could barely get back here. My knees were all squished into the seat, and it wasn't fun. One other thing that you don't get in the Bronco that is a limiting factor, if you do have children or if you have pets, you don't get vents in the back. There is no HVAC for your rear passengers in a Bronco. So if you're going out on the trail, or you're just going out on a day to the beach, or even if you're just driving to get groceries, if you stick people back here or you stick pets back here, they're not getting any air. They're only getting air from what's coming from the front vents. And believe me, that doesn't do enough. Excuse me, that doesn't do enough when it's 100 degrees outside and sun is beaming down on you, especially if you're not moving and there's no airflow coming in through the windows. You need vents in the back, 100%. And I'm glad that the Jeep has it, that they thought of that. but that's one thing that the Bronco kind of slipped up on. Even though both of these vehicles are brand new, there is a ton and a ton more aftermarket support for the Jeeps and for Wranglers in general, just any year of Wrangler, than there is for Broncos. Now that could change, but I highly doubt it, because the cult following and the amount of people that own Jeeps and that love Jeeps and have Jeeps is incredible. Like, just look on the road when you're driving the next time. There is an incredible amount of Jeeps on the road, especially Wranglers, and there's a good reason why. If you've never been in one or you've never taken one for a drive, definitely hop in one and go for a drive. I am going to try to kind of sneak in here for a second because the planes are overhead and they are kind of loud today, but definitely this is one more reason. If you want to go and customize your vehicle, there's a lot more aftermarket support, from interior things to exterior things to suspension and just anything else that you can think of. There's a lot more support for Jeeps than there is for Ford Broncos at the moment. One more thing that is similar is you can still get a manual with a real clutch and an actual stick shift in both of these, and that is pretty rare these days. They don't make many manual vehicles, especially SUVs, but being an off-road vehicle, they give you that option. So you can get a manual in both of these. Now, don't quote me on this, but I believe that you can only get a manual in the Bronco if you get the smaller engine. And I'm not 100% sure on that, but I think that's the case. The other thing is the engines. Now, in the Wranglers, you get far more options. You get far more options. I don't know why I can't talk today. You get far more options for engines. You're allowed to choose from a 3.6 gas, a 2-liter turbo gas, a 3-liter diesel, or a hybrid, which is a mix of the 2-liter turbo gas with a battery and an electric motor. Now, there is also a new version for 2022 that I believe is the 3.6 with e-torque. What that is basically it has a smaller motor inside of the actual engine bay that helps you with your start before the engine gets to speed and helps you with that moving that dead weight, so you don't waste as much energy there. I also believe that it has something to do with the starter, with the electronic start-stop, but it's not a full hybrid system. It's not like a plug-in hybrid. And even the plug-in hybrid isn't like a full plug-in hybrid like in something else. Like, it gives you about 30 kilometers or 25 or 20 miles of range. It's nothing crazy, but the fact is you get all those options. And if you don't want a turbo, you don't have to get a turbo. And I know that in the Bronco, you only get 2 options as of today. And both of those options give you a turbo. Unfortunately, that's not for everybody. I honestly don't want a turbo. I've never had a vehicle with a turbo. I don't need a turbo. I don't want to deal with replacing or maintaining a turbo. I just don't want it, and that's just for me. And depending on what you want, you may be stuck with only 2 engine options. So I think that they should definitely add a few more engine options. I don't know if the Raptor comes with a different engine, but we're not talking about the Raptor right now, just like we're not talking about the 392. You can get a 392 in these with a V8, which is only available for a short time because of, as you guys know, we're all moving to electric. We'll see. But right now, you can still get a V8 in a Wrangler. And it is the first time ever that you can get a V8 in a Wrangler. And I think there's only maybe 1 or 2 years that it's going to be available. So if you want a V8 in your Jeep or in your off-road vehicle, then definitely jump on that. But that's another thing. You cannot option yourself a V8 or even a V6 gas in your Bronco. So that is one more reason I chose the Wrangler. Now, like I said, these vehicles are very similar. There's another plane going overhead. These vehicles are very similar. There's more similarities than there is differences. And to be honest with you guys, at the end of the day, what it comes down to is personal preference. Yeah, I'm sure the gas mileage is a little bit different on each one. I'm sure that each one has different things that are better and worse. And hopefully I touched on some of those for you guys today. But today I wasn't really giving you a review of the vehicles. I was giving you a breakdown of why I chose this one, and basically the features that stood out to me and made me want to go with the Jeep. Now, definitely, I'm not knocking the Bronco. The Bronco is a great vehicle. I took one for a test drive. They drive amazing. They probably drive better. Well, not probably. They do drive better on the road than Jeeps. Jeep Wranglers, at least, and Jeep Gladiators. But that's not for me. I'm not looking for just on-road driving. If I was, I wouldn't go buy an off-road vehicle. I would go buy myself something else. So honestly, at the end of the day, it comes down to personal preference, what you want out of the vehicle, what you're going to use it for, whether you have a family, whether you don't have a family, and just what you like. Maybe one looks better to you than the other. And my best advice to you, if you're out there and you're going to be choosing yourself a new vehicle, is pick the one that stands out to you and the one that you really want. Don't get the one you think you should get the one you really want. Just like me, I really wanted a new Wrangler, but I knew that in my heart I wanted a Gladiator. So at the end of the day, I bought the Gladiator, even though I knew that I should get a Wrangler if I want to use it for off-roading, going overlanding, and all that kind of stuff. The Wrangler is going to be better because of the shorter wheelbase. It's just better off-road. That's a fact. But at the end of the day, this is what I really wanted, so this is what I went with, and that's why we're in the Gladiator. But at the end of the day, my choice was between the Bronco and the Wrangler, and I went with the Gladiator because that's what my heart wanted. So go with a vehicle that you guys really want, because not only are you going to enjoy it more, you're going to want to drive it more, you're going to love it that much more, you're going to want to do mods to it, you're going to take care of it that much more because it's the one you really wanted. So go out there, get yourselves that vehicle, and good luck to you guys in your new purchase. Hopefully I helped you guys out a little bit. I know that my regular subscribers, you guys are waiting for me to go off-roading and do some mods, and believe me, we will be doing that very soon. But I think that's going to be the end of the video for today, guys, because I touched on pretty much everything I could think of, and I don't want to bore you guys. So I think that's pretty much it. I will be going up to Ardbeg this weekend. I know a lot of you guys that are my regular subscribers want to see me going off-roading and see me doing some mods and my regular stuff, and we will get back to that this weekend. On Saturday I will be up at Ardbeg, so if you guys excuse me, if you guys are going to be up in the area, definitely come say hi. I will have some keychains and some stickers that I will be giving out to people that are subscribers, and just come say hi. So definitely, hopefully I will see you guys out there. And if you are new around here, jump down there, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video. But until then, guys, ride safe out there. Peace.